A World War III. The very mention of it sends a chill down our spines, evoking images of a world plunged into chaos and destruction. The phrase itself is enough to conjure up scenes of unimaginable devastation, where cities lie in ruins and the very fabric of society is torn apart. We envision a world where the horrors of war are magnified to an unprecedented scale, leaving no corner of the globe untouched by its destructive force. Such a conflict, if it were ever to erupt, would not only redefine the global order but also leave an indelible scar on the collective memory of humanity. While the prospect of World War III remains a distant and highly unlikely scenario, it is crucial to analyze the factors that could potentially lead to such a catastrophe. Understanding these factors helps us appreciate the delicate balance that maintains global peace. Today, the world is a complex web of interconnected nations, each with its own unique interests, alliances, and grievances. This intricate network of relationships can sometimes act as a deterrent to large-scale conflicts, but it can also be a source of tension and instability. The post-World War II order, which was characterized by American dominance and a relatively stable balance of power, is rapidly fading. In its place, we are witnessing the emergence of a multipolar world with several power centers. This shift in the global balance of power is accompanied by rising nationalism, economic competition, and rapid technological advancements. These factors have created a volatile environment where miscalculations and misunderstandings could easily escalate into conflict. The advancements in military technology, including cyber warfare capabilities, artificial intelligence, and autonomous weapons, have added new dimensions to modern warfare. These technologies, while offering strategic advantages, also increase the complexity and unpredictability of potential conflicts. In this increasingly volatile landscape, the United States, despite its formidable military might, faces unprecedented challenges to its global hegemony. The rise of other powerful nations, such as China and Russia, has introduced new dynamics into the global power structure. The days of undisputed American dominance are over. The US must now navigate a world where its influence is contested on multiple fronts, and where alliances and rivalries are constantly shifting. To understand why the US might not emerge victorious in a future global conflict, we must delve deeper into the geopolitical, economic, and technological realities of the 21st century. These realities include the economic interdependence of nations, the rapid pace of technological change, and the shifting alliances that characterize the modern world. Economic interdependence means that a conflict involving major powers would have far-reaching consequences for the global economy. The interconnected nature of global trade and finance means that the economic fallout from a major war would be felt worldwide, potentially leading to a prolonged period of economic instability and hardship. Technological advancements, particularly in the realm of cyber warfare, have introduced new vulnerabilities. Cyber attacks can disrupt critical infrastructure, steal sensitive information, and undermine public trust in institutions. The potential for cyber warfare to cause widespread disruption adds another layer of complexity to modern conflicts. Shifting alliances and the rise of non-state actors further complicate the global security landscape. Traditional alliances may no longer be as reliable, and the actions of non-state actors, such as terrorist groups and private military companies, can have significant impacts on international stability. In this intricate and ever-changing world, the importance of diplomacy, international cooperation, and conflict prevention cannot be overstated. The lessons of history remind us that the cost of war is immeasurable, and the pursuit of peace is a responsibility that we all share. As we navigate the complexities of the 21st century, it is essential to remain vigilant, to foster dialogue and understanding, and to work together to build a future where the unthinkable remains just that, unthinkable.
For decades, the United States reigned supreme as the world's sole superpower. Its influence was felt in every corner of the globe, from the bustling streets of New York to the remote villages in Africa. The American dream was not just a national ethos, but a global aspiration. The U.S. set the standards in technology, entertainment, and even lifestyle. Its military might was unparalleled, with bases in numerous countries and a defense budget that dwarfed those of other nations. Economically, the U.S. was the engine that drove global growth. And culturally, Hollywood movies, American music, and fashion dominated the world stage. Its military, economy, and cultural influence were unmatched. The US dollar was the world's reserve currency, and American companies like Apple, Google, and Microsoft were household names worldwide. The internet, largely an American invention, connected the world in ways previously unimaginable, further cementing US dominance. However, the 21st century has witnessed a seismic shift in the global balance of power. The rise of the internet and social media has democratized information, allowing other nations to project their influence more effectively. Globalization has created new economic powerhouses, and technological advancements have leveled the playing field in many areas. Emerging economies, particularly China, have risen to challenge US dominance, creating a more multipolar world. Countries like India, Brazil, and South Africa are also making their mark, each contributing to a more complex and interconnected global landscape. This shift is not just economic, but also geopolitical, with alliances and partnerships constantly evolving.
China's economic rise has been nothing short of remarkable. From a largely agrarian society just a few decades ago, China has transformed into a global manufacturing hub and a leader in technology and innovation. Its Belt and Road Initiative aims to create a new Silk Road, enhancing trade routes and economic ties across Asia, Europe, and Africa. It boasts the world's second-largest economy and is rapidly expanding its military capabilities. China's investments in artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and space exploration are positioning it as a future leader in these critical areas. The Chinese Navy is growing, and its military bases are extending their reach, signaling its intent to protect its interests far beyond its borders. China's growing assertiveness in the Asia-Pacific region, coupled with its economic clout, poses a significant challenge to US influence. The South China Sea, a vital maritime route, has become a flashpoint, with China building artificial islands and asserting territorial claims. This has led to tensions with neighboring countries and the US, which advocates for freedom of navigation in international waters.
Russia, despite its economic woes, remains a formidable military power, with a nuclear arsenal capable of destroying the world many times over. Its cyber capabilities are also noteworthy, with numerous allegations of cyber attacks and election interference aimed at destabilizing other nations. Moscow's resurgence on the global stage, evidenced by its interventions in Syria and Ukraine, demonstrates its willingness to challenge the US and its allies. These actions have not only altered the geopolitical landscape but have also tested the resolve and unity of Western alliances like NATO.
The rise of these new power centers, combined with the resurgence of regional powers, has eroded US dominance. Countries like Turkey, Iran, and Saudi Arabia are asserting their influence in the Middle East, while Japan and South Korea are key players in East Asia. Africa, too, is seeing a new wave of economic growth and political assertiveness, with nations like Nigeria and South Africa leading the charge. The world is no longer as unipolar as it once was. The transition to a multipolar world is marked by shifting alliances, economic interdependence, and a more complex geopolitical landscape. This new reality requires nations to navigate a web of relationships and interests, balancing cooperation and competition. And the US can no longer dictate terms on the global stage as it once did. While it remains a significant player, it must now contend with a host of other influential nations, each with its own agenda and vision for the future. This evolving dynamic is reshaping international relations and will continue to do so in the years to come.
Modern warfare is as much about economics as it is about military might. In today's interconnected world, the strength of a nation's economy can often determine the outcome of conflicts even before they begin. Economic power can be wielded as a weapon, with sanctions, trade restrictions, and financial pressures serving as modern-day battlegrounds. The ability to sustain a prolonged conflict depends heavily on a nation's economic strength. A robust economy can support a nation's military efforts, providing the necessary resources, technology, and manpower. Conversely, a weak economy can lead to shortages, low morale, and ultimately, defeat. While the US boasts the world's largest economy, it's also burdened by massive debt and a shrinking manufacturing base. This duality presents a significant challenge. On one hand, the US has unparalleled financial resources and technological capabilities. On the other, its economic vulnerabilities could be exploited by adversaries. The US military-industrial complex is vast and technologically advanced, but it's also incredibly expensive to maintain. The costs of research, development, and deployment of cutting-edge military technology are staggering. This financial burden is compounded by the need to maintain a global military presence, which requires substantial ongoing investment. The cost of waging war, especially a global conflict, would be astronomical, potentially crippling the U.S. economy. The financial strain of such a conflict would not only impact military spending, but also divert resources from critical domestic needs such as healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Moreover, the globalized nature of the world economy means that any conflict involving major powers would have devastating ripple effects. The interconnectedness of global markets means that economic disruptions in one region can quickly spread to others, causing widespread instability. Supply chains would be disrupted, financial markets would plunge, and the economic fallout would be felt worldwide. The interdependence of modern economies means that no nation is immune to the effects of a major conflict. Global trade would grind to a halt, leading to shortages of essential goods and services. The resulting economic chaos would exacerbate the human suffering caused by the conflict, making recovery even more difficult. In a protracted conflict, the U.S. economy, already grappling with inequality and a shrinking middle class, would be severely tested. The economic divide could widen further, leading to increased social unrest and political instability. Its ability to sustain its military commitments while also addressing domestic economic challenges would be in doubt. Balancing the demands of a global military presence with the needs of its citizens would require difficult choices and sacrifices. The economic battlefield is complex and multifaceted, and the outcomes of modern conflicts are often determined as much by financial strategies as by military tactics.
Technological advancements, while often seen as a source of military advantage, also present new challenges and vulnerabilities. Cyber warfare, for instance, has emerged as a potent weapon, capable of crippling infrastructure, disrupting communications, and sowing chaos. The U.S., despite its technological prowess, is highly vulnerable to cyber attacks. Its reliance on interconnected systems and digital infrastructure makes it a prime target for state and non-state actors alike. Furthermore, the proliferation of advanced weaponry, such as hypersonic missiles and autonomous drones, has eroded the traditional military superiority enjoyed by the U.S. These weapon systems, often cheaper and more readily available, can level the playing field, making it more difficult for the U.S. to achieve decisive victories. Technology, once a cornerstone of U.S. military dominance, has become a double-edged sword.